Yeah, the reason we started even digging around looking for tents, we have a new race team for Orbea. We have two oval race teams. Orbea, being a company headquartered in Spain, has a lot of support in Europe for like these different World Cup downhill and cross country events. But when it comes to the United States, we had no support. So you've got a massive investment in these two race teams. We can't really afford to have a situation where we show up and the tent doesn't work, or worse yet, we show up and the tent doesn't show up. I had this sort of house of cards built where, like, if any one card fell, this event wasn't going to happen. And it was pretty high stakes and a lot of visibility internally and externally for Orbea. I knew what style of tent I wanted. I had some experience with another manufacturer that I knew I didn't want to go with for quality and kind of a fit and finish perspective. And when I sent an inquiry through the website to TentCraft, I heard back from Steve, and it was just immediately a really easy conversation to have. And this isn't a small expense. Like for Orbea this time around, we ordered 4 20 by 20 tents and a host of half walls and full walls and walls with doors and walls without, and everything logoed and flags, and pretty big investment. And so having someone there, a real person to talk to whenever you had a question, to give you some confidence in the purchase was key for me. I had some previous experience. I worked at another company before that had some very similar 20 by 20 circus style tents. And I always thought for the small increase in setup time and takedown time, the benefits you get on the ground and the presentation you're giving the consumer is, in my opinion, leaps and bounds above a standard 10 by 10, or in our case, a cluster of what would be 8 to 16 10 by 10s, all tied together with weights. You've got a higher ceiling, you've got a much more substantial offering. When you put 4 20 by 20s like we have together, you get 80 feet of frontage. You've got a high enough ceiling to be able to put a proper floor in there. So when consumers come in, they're stepping off of the exposition floor, they're stepping off the pavement or the tan bark onto something a little more elevated and solid, and gives you the opportunity to really work with the space as you wish. We've got, Orbea does, mountain bikes, EMTB, road bikes, gravel bikes. We have a whole urban segment, and we've got a ton of brand campaign stuff that we like to make sure we're communicating at these events. So we need all that interior space to do that. So Steve was able to say, yes, we will for sure be able to deliver your tents at this time. They showed up at the right time. And when I put them up for the first time, I had a couple questions, and I was able to call Steve on his cell phone. He answered. He said, oh, that goes here, this goes there. This is how the gutters work. This is how this whole thing goes together. Oh, by the way, here's some links to some SOPs and manuals on how to build this thing. And it was really easy. Frankly, I was really, really impressed. I timed the teardown of one of them on the way out of Mont Saint Anne, the last World Cup, and we were tent up to tent completely down in 13 minutes. And it was like packed up into the trailer. Everyone looks at these tents and they go, oh, damn, that thing's huge. Wow. But if you have 2 or 3 people, in my case, it was me. I was the only one who knew how these things work. But once I taught them how it works, the thing goes up and down really quickly. If someone else is interested in working with TentCraft, I would just say this is your Amazon review that says that that's a good product and that those people are knowledgeable and they can deliver on time. And what you will get with your purchase is what's communicated in the marketing on the website. TentCraft is not a fly-by-night company. You could be pretty confident in working with them, and my experience was great.